Hey guys, Cameron here with Emerson Property Management. Every week I bring you tools, tactics, strategies, lessons I've learned, things that have helped me build up a sizable rental portfolio about 2 years and now manage that portfolio. Today I'm taking a question from a friend. We're at the time of this recording, it's in the middle of the pandemic. There's a lot of discussions about should I get in now, should I wait? A lot of people are moving jobs, whether that's because they don't have to be in a location anymore. Their company is permanently putting them into a work from home type position where they can work from wherever they want in the country or the world. Or they're relocating, companies are consolidating, want people to get out of these remote offices and come back to maybe one hub. So I got the question, is it true you need to be in a house for at least 3 years to make it worth it? So I got the handy dandy whiteboard here to help answer this question. The truth be told, 3 to 5 years is probably the minimum. I can't say exactly. Again, this is 2020, and for the past decade, we'd have nothing but a bull market in the stock market and in the real estate market. So you could have bought anything in 2015 and probably turned around in 2017, 2018 and sold it for a profit. Wouldn't have mattered. But now that the market stabilized after the 2008, 2009 crash, if it was me, I would be very, very cautious on buying a property if you're not going to be in the area for at least 3 years, 3 to 5. That's kind of the break-even point. And if not, be ready to rent it. So, you turn that property into a rental property instead of wanting to sell it. And the reason why is transaction costs. So this is the kicker. So I'm just going to talk about buy and sell. Again, I'm just going to talk about generic home prices. I have friends who are in Salt Lake City where prices are outrageous, or California or Denver, versus, the Midwest prices like Ohio and Texas that are a little bit cheaper. So just, this works. Just run these same numbers or same calculations for your area and you'll see similar type situations. So I'm just going to use buying a $250,000 house. So you buy it, it's $250,000. And I'm going to label your fees down here. So you're going to have, let's just say, I'm just going to be very, very conservative and say you're going to have some closing costs and lender points, unless you're buying it all cash. You're probably going to look at about $5,000. That might be high, that might be low. That's about 2%. But I'm just going to use that as an even number. You're going to have around $5,000, and that's your total. $5,000 in fees when you buy. Now, Cameron, what are you talking about? Well, a lender typically will charge a point, maybe 2 points, maybe a half a point. You'll have to do an appraisal. That'll run you between $400 and $600. Most people will be doing inspections, and that'll run you between $400 to $700. If you do a general inspection, if you do more with a roof, foundation, some specialist inspections, that's going to run you more. So title work and various other things, $5,000 is not that ridiculous. So I would just say that's average. Now, let's say you buy this property in 2020 and you turn around and you get relocated, you don't want the property anymore, something happened, whatever, you want to move out or you want to sell it, you want to leave the area. And you don't want to turn it into a rental property. You don't want the hassle of dealing with it. You're moving completely out of state and you just want to be done with it. So most people would think maybe in 3 to 5 years that if you sell the property for $300,000, you sell the property for $300,000, that I'm going to make 50 grand. Well, this is the difference. So that's just closing costs. You got commissions and, we'll assume you've been in more than 2 years, so we won't take any taxes or anything out of it. But I'm going to say in here, maintenance, repairs. Okay, so you've got 3 more line items. So I'm just going to group them all into 3 line items. So closing cost, commissions, maintenance, and repairs. So closing costs for a $300,000 house, again, you're going to have some title work, some fees from attorneys, various other minute things that might come up when you're looking to sell the house, just like you had it when you bought it. There's going to be a lot of hands moving throughout the transaction to make sure that you have a free and clear title and that the paperwork is done properly. So that will be on a closing cost. I'm going to say, about 1%, depending upon whether the buyer or the seller pays for the title policy. So I'm just going to say 1%. That's actually fairly low. 1 to 2%, but we'll just say 1% just for kicks. Commissions, unless you're an agent, and we can do a range on here. Let's just do 1 to 2%. Since this is my video and I can share this example how I please, thankfully. 3 to 6,000. That's 1 to 2% closing cost. Commissions, again, unless you're an agent, you're going to have to pay 6%. You can sometimes get a deal with, okay, I'll pay you 1% or 2% or whatever, but by and large, you're going to end up paying 6%. 6% on 300,000, and again, that's to the buyer's agent and the selling agent. So if you're selling, the seller, not always, but majority, more often than not, 99% of the time is going to pay the commissions for the agent that brings the buyer to you and your agent that's selling the property for you. So that's $18,000 in commissions. Now, again, I'm going to take out the mortgage payment. That's principal and interest payment, right? I'm just going to throw that out and say that is a wash because you'd be paying that in rent or whatever. But remember, unlike going down and renting an apartment complex where you don't have to do any yard work, you don't have to worry about bugs, you don't have to worry about fixing a leaking faucet, you don't have to worry about fixing plumbing, you don't have to worry about fixing an HVAC unit that blows out, you don't have to worry about the foundation, you don't have to worry about flooding, you don't have to worry about anything. You basically just go in and you pay your rent, and you have to pay utilities, so we're going to say that's a wash. But maintenance and repairs typically run you about $200 a month. That's pretty conservative. That is a very general number, and I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be, but if you use about $200 a month or budget for that, it might be high, it might be low. There's home warranty companies that you can use. I'm not a big fan of them because it seems like they never cover anything that you want, but you can use that. But again, that's $500 to $600 a year, and some places $700, $800 a year, and then you have deductibles and what have you. So I'm just going to say $200 a month is $2,400 a year. You're here 3 to 5 years, so I'm just going to say conservatively 2,400 times 3 is 75. So we're going to say about $10,000. About $10,000. Probably $8,000 to $10,000. It could be more. You could buy a property, and then next thing you know, the plumbing goes out, and you have a serious problem. So if we add this up, 3 to 6, you got 28,000. You got about, the total for that is about 28 and 3 is 31. So we'll say about 32,000. Again, I just added that up over here. From these numbers, added it up over here, 32,000. So now you take your 300,000 and you subtract 32,000, boys and girls, you're left with $268,000, right? 268,000. You guys will have to bear with me. The lawn guy is here, and he's doing a little weed eating. So if you hear that noise, again, we do this live, so bear with me. 268 grand. Now, what's the difference now between your 250 grand and your 268? That's 18,000. That's your true walk-away money, right? So you really walked away with somewhere, we'll just say $20,000. Now, that sounds decent, and I agree that if you walk through that, to still walk away with 20 grand in your pocket, if you rented, you'd be throwing away money. I can totally agree with that. But I want you to understand that 250 to 300 doesn't sound like a big jump, but that is a 20%, right? 50K, that's 1/5. Yeah, that's a 20% increase. From 250 to 300,000 is a 20% increase in market value. The typical increase is going to be somewhere around 3 to 5% a year. 3% is the rate to keep inflation. 5% to 7% is what markets have seen who are a little bit above, but typically it'll flatten out to about 3%. So we're talking in 3 to 5 years, getting a 20% return. That's either a 7%, that's a significant gain, or if it's 5 years, you're looking at, you know what? If it's 5 years, you're looking at around 4%. Okay, so that would be more in line, but it's still ahead of the average. Guys, I hope that was helpful. And the reason I wanted to show you that is because some people just, oh, I'm going to buy it for 250, and in 3 to 5 years, I'll sell it at 300, and I'm going to make 50 grand. Well, I just showed you, we have closing costs that you pay on both ends. You have commissions that you'll have to pay when you sell that can total quite a bit of money. And you'll have some maintenance and repairs that you're going to have to do to keep the house up. Again, you never know. The day you buy it might be perfect. The house might be perfect. The next day you have a plumbing issue. You have a significant storm come in, a hurricane, a hailstorm, and it tears everything up. And now you've got to pay your deductible. Whereas you're in an apartment, the apartment complex fixes all the common areas and handles that. Now again, I'm not advising one way or the other. If you guys house hack, there's different strategies that you can use that make buying a home, your first home, a significant investment strategy to propel your investing forward. But I just want you to understand the math behind why I say typically that 3 to 5, and that's the general rule, where that comes from. So if you don't think your house is going to appreciate, I would seriously look, and you think you're going to move soon, I would seriously look at just renting for the time being. If you're going to be in it long term, then buying makes sense, and especially if you want to do some house hacking or some other different strategies, or hold it as a rental property. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, let me know. If it wasn't, let me know. If the math or something was weird, or you guys want to see a different example, just comment below, like, subscribe, shoot me an email, and I'll help you guys out however I can. Thank you guys. See you next week.